Episode 19 Bridges Between Worlds. Part 1. The morning air was crisp, carrying the scent of bread and smoke from the small town's bakeries. Amina walked slowly, feeling the light of the past days pressing on her chest. Feeling the weight of the past days pressing on her chest. The freedom she had fought so hard for was still fragile, still uncertain, and still a constant test of courage. Marko was already awake, sitting on the edge of the bed, staring out the small window of the narrow street below. The town was waking up, but every step outside seemed to carry danger. We need to think about work, he said quietly. Not just for today, but long term. We cannot survive on odd jobs forever. Amina nodded. Though her thoughts were elsewhere, I know. But the thought of asking for work, of being out there every day, constantly seeing, it terrifies me. Marko reached for her hand. You are stronger than you think, and I will be with you every step. She squeezed her hand, drawing courage from his presence. Together, they had survived leaving home, surviving strangers' eyes, and avoiding her family's reach. But now, survival was not enough. They needed stability, a bridge to the life they dreamed of. After a quick breakfast of bread and tea, they set out into the streets. The market was busy with vendors shouting praises and people bargaining. Marko scanned every face, aware someone might notice them. Amina followed close, clutching his hand. When the crowd pressed too near, they found a small workshop that repaired electronics and appliances. Marko approached the owner cautiously. Are you hiring? He asked. The man eyed him suspiciously. What do you know about repairs? Enough to help, I learned fast. The man hesitated, then nodded. Come tomorrow. You'll start as an apprentice. Relief and hope washed over Marko. He turned to Amina, smiling. A start, a real start. Amina smiled back, though nerves still lingered. It is something, she said, softly, and maybe we can do the same for me. They spent the rest of the day scouting places where she could find work. Eventually, they discovered a small cafe, seeking a helper. It was not perfect, but it was safe, and it was a start. By evening, they returned to their small room, exhausted, but quietly triumphant. For the first time in weeks, a glimmer of stability existed in their lives. That night, as they lay together, Amina whispered, do you think we'll ever feel like we belong somewhere? Marko kissed her forehead. We belong wherever we are together. That's all that matters. She smiled faintly, ice. Every choice they made built a bridge between the life they had left behind and the life they hoped to create. And that bridge, though fragile, was theirs to walk together. Part 2. The next morning, the town stirred with the usual sounds. Carts rolling over cobblestones, children shouting as they ran to school, the faint clatter of a blacksmith hammer. But for Amina and Marko, each sound carried a weight. Each passersby's glance reminded them that their freedom was still fragile. Marko left early for the electronics workshop, toolbox in hand. His hands ached from the day before, but he carried himself with determination. Each repair, each task was a step towards stability. Every coin earned felt like a small victory against the uncertainty that clung to their lives. Amina stayed behind, nervous but determined. She had secured the cafe job which meant early mornings, long hours on her feet, and dealing with strangers who didn't know her story. She rehearsed conversation in her mind as she walked there, trying to appear confident, though every step felt like walking on fragile ice. The cafe was bustling, orders shouted, pots clanging, steam rising. Amina's hands trembled as she wiped tables, carried trays, and learned the rhythm of busy environment. But by the end of the morning, she was exhausted, but a quiet pride settled in her chest. She had done it. She had survived a day on her own, contributing to their new life. Marko returned at midday, his face tired but hopeful. How was it? He asked. Amina smiled faintly. Hard, but I can do it. I just need to get used to it. He nodded. We'll both get used to it, step by step. Money was tight, but together they began to plan more seriously. They listed their needs: rent, food, transportation. Every coin mattered. Every expenditure was calculated. Their conversations were no longer just about survival. They were about building something lasting, even if it was fragile. By evening, they sat together in their small room, eating a simple meal. The city outside glowed with street lights, and the sounds of night dogs barking, distant laughter, the faint winds through alleys filled with the air. Amina rested her hand on Marko's shoulder. Do you think we will ever stop being afraid? She asked. Marko held her tightly. Maybe not entirely, but fear doesn't have to control us. We will face it, and we will keep moving forward. That is what matters. They stayed up late, whispering plans for the next still lurked, but they were building something together, a fragile, beautiful bridge that could carry them toward the future. They chose not one dictated by the shadows of their past. Part 3. Night fell softly over the town, painting the streets in vivid gold and shadow. The quiet hum of life continued outside, but inside their small room, Amina and Marko sat close together, feeling the weight of the day and the unspoken fears that clung to them. Amina traced the outline of her hands, thinking of her family far away. She wondered if they worried, if they mourned her absence, if they imagined the life she had chosen for herself. Freedom had been her dream, but now, in the quiet of the night, it felt like a fragile thread holding her to a life that was still so uncertain. Marko watched her silently, reading the worry in her eyes. He reached for her hand, holding it as if to anchor both of them. We've come so far, he said softly. It's not perfect, and it's not easy, but we are alive, and we are together. That has to count for something. Amina leaned against him, letting herself rest for a moment. I know, but sometimes it feels like we are always on the edge, like any misstep, any glance from the wrong person could undo everything. He pressed a kiss to her temple. Then we moved carefully. We planned. We survived. But most of all, we hold on to each other. That's our strength. They spent the evening quietly sharing a small meal of bread and cheese. Each bite was measured, each word spoken carefully, but it was a comfort, a reminder that even in this fragile existence, they had small victories. Later, as they lay in bed, Amina whispered, "Do you think one day we will have a place where we don't have to hide?" Marco's hand brushed her hair. "I believe it. One day. But even if it takes time, we will get there together. And until that day comes, this us is enough." The room grew still. Outside, the town slept, unaware of the lights quietly being rebuilt in their shadows. Fear, doubt, and the memories of the past would always be there. But for the first time in a long while, Amina allowed herself a fragile hope. They had survived, leaving the home, navigating. Wait. They had survived leaving home, navigating the strangest streets and confronting uncertainty. And as long as they faced the world side by side, they could endure anything. In the darkness, they held each other, two hearts bound together, building a bridge between the worlds, between the world they had left behind and the life they were creating. Fragile, uncertain, starts with Marko and Amina, recognizing that their love is the foundation for the life they're building, even amid fear and uncertainty. And that hope, small and fragile, is enough to carry